Hey guys, this here is a Black Decker Flamebuster model SMK-6D/M3 smoke detector. And this was actually my Christmas gift from myself this year. I bought it. It wasn't, well, at first it wasn't my Christmas gift for myself this year, but it has a long story about how it got here. And I'll get into that in a minute. But let's talk about, yeah, this is a 80s unit. It was made in probably around, I want to say 85 or so, probably early to mid 80s. I'm not quite sure exactly when when it was made. It doesn't have a date code. And you'll notice how it resembles kind of a GE Home Sentry 8201-401C like this. This is one of my 401s that I have on hand. But as you can see, they're very similar, except the only difference is the button on this one is in the middle, and on this one the button's off to the side. That's because these were both actually made by the same OEM, EI Electronics, who is actually still in business today. They make smoke detectors under their own brand name, actually. And these were actually made by EI and imported from Ireland, which is where the factory was, where it still is to this day. And yeah, so all these GEs and all the Black & Deckers that you see, something you might not know is that they were all made by EI Electronics. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So this is a later variant, a later design, obviously, and you'll see why in a minute when I open it. But this one was the earliest one, the earliest of the rectangular designs, and then the ones that they had before that were this design, the square design. And of course, this is my GE 8201-101. But fun fact: Black & Decker did make older square ones like this, except the only ones that I know they made were the 301, the 9-volt battery model. I don't know if they made a 12.6 volt one like this or a 120 volt hardwired model, but yeah, battery flag opened up. Anyway, so go ahead and open it up now, and you can see the inside. So now you can see there's a great difference between this one and the GE models. Here's the inside of the GE. This one's got a plastic sensor with sort of like very small slots around the top of it to let smoke in. The test button is right next to the sensor right there. It's a little jumper tab, and then the test button itself is attached to the cover, and then this tab pushes down on the jumper tab there next to the sensor. And then the horn is right here. It's a trumpet style piezo horn that these all had. And then if you look at the GE, you can see this one's got the metal sensor. It's the triple slot sensor with the 3 large slots on the top, and the button is actually on top of the sensor. So the button actually pushes like down into the sensor to test it. This one, it just has the jumper there. So that's another interesting thing. And then this one also has the radiation symbol on top of the sensor. This one contains 1 microcurie of americium, or sorry, 0.9 microcuries, close enough to being 1. But this one contains, where is it? Contains, it doesn't say it on there. It contains 2 microcuries. It says it on the sensor. It usually says it on the label on the back, but this one particular model doesn't have the label on the back for some reason. Not sure why. But yeah, it contains 2 microcuries. This one only contains 0.9. So that is a pretty good indicator that this one is later. So they also, Black & Decker did make ones that resembled the GE ones with the test button off to the side. And I'm not sure where in the timeline those came. I'm not sure if they were after these or before these. The sensor in the GE model resembles the sensor in those later models, actually. They use this design, except it was black plastic like this, and it had the 3 slots, and it had the red test button on top of the sensor, except it didn't go inside of the test button, or sorry, inside of the sensor. It was sort of like a jumper on top of the sensor instead. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well. So there's a lot of different variations of these rectangular EI made GEs and Black & Deckers, because GE themselves also did plastic sensors. So now we'll go ahead and give it a test. So it makes a different sound than the GEs, which those of you who have seen other videos of these probably already know that, but I will go ahead and test it now. So as you can hear, it sounds in a slow 5/6, which is sort of the same kind of pitch. It's sort of in the range that the GEs usually were, pitch-wise, but this one right here is a lot lower pitched, actually. But as you can hear, that's what the GEs usually sound like. They make the fast warble. It's actually a very fast 5/6. And basically what they've done with these is they've just slowed it down. So this one's also louder for some reason than this GE. I'm not sure why that is. But yeah, so I've seen 2 of these in person, other ones. The first one was actually at a doctor that I used to go to. They had one on the ceiling of the office, like in the hallway area, that had the cover removed and it didn't have a battery in it. It could have been this model, but it also could have been the other version that had the sort of the larger cover. That was I'm not sure which model those were, but they were the older versions of the older versions of these. But anyway, yeah. And then another one was I saw Garrett Insco has been to my house, and he's brought his Black & Decker units over, so I've seen his before. But that doesn't really count since they weren't installed. My aunt, who lives in Frederick, has a Black & Decker. I think it's the unit, the version that looks like the GE, but she has one in her downstairs hallway, sort of like outside of the master bedroom. So yeah. Now, the reason why it took forever for this thing to arrive is because when I ordered it first, it took actually not that long to arrive. But what they gave me first was they gave me this. So this was sent to me by mistake. What had happened was the seller had wanted to sell these 2 as a set, like together, as a lot. And she accidentally sent me this one instead of that one because she forgot that she was going to sell just that one and not them both, and she got mixed up, and she just sent me this one instead. But this is a first alert carbon monoxide detector from the early 2000s, I believe, model FCD3. It works, I've tested it, but she let me have it for free. She was like, you don't need to return it or anything. And then she sent me this one. But she shipped it actually like right after this one arrived. She shipped the Black & Decker. But the reason why it took so long, it was stuck in the Postal Service, was because of coronavirus, and also because of there's just the holiday rush, and you know, things get busy around this time of year. It actually arrived to me on Christmas Eve, so it just took me a while to do a video, just because I've been doing other things and I've been working still. So that is about it for this video. So give it one more test. Alright, so that is the Black & Decker Flamebuster SMK-6D/M3 and all these. So thanks for watching, and more to come. This is just a short little bonus. I put a battery in the CO alarm. I know people were going to bother me about testing it, so I just thought I'd include testing it at the end of this video. So here we go. So as you can hear, it does sort of a slow pulse. It's almost the same code as the old Pyrotector Smoke Sentinel, the 30-77 that I have, almost that same code. But yeah, so that's it for this video. See ya.